Let's go on and carry out our e-tutorial. We activate the panel for the management of the predefined views and we place it. Let's now see how, starting from a material taken from a library, we can get a slightly different material and possibly save it for future purposes. Let's start from the drawing sheet. It's the object with the least realistic look because we use a vellum paper. Now we want to change it. We set it as current, move to the rendering table, and have a look at the object close by. We widen the pane, and from the toolbar select Fit View, select the vellum material, then Edit. Then we confirm that the rendering mode is switched to High Quality Plus Materials. We select Texture Color, Wrap Image, and finally Plane. This image was taken from the libraries of materials. In Texture Color, we leave white as predefined color and we run the rendering preview. This way we switch from an image that was mapped on the surface to a plain white color. This is already a modification of the material. We leave unchanged all the other properties and confirmed. At this step, since we got a new material, we rename vellum white paper. We select it and save it to the library. We confirm the saving operation and close the panel of the predefined views. Now let's see where we can retrieve our material. So we go to the rendering library. In Material, User Define, we select Import a predefined folder. We find a new item, white paper. To regenerate the existing icon, we select it and click Regenerate so that it's generated by the material properties. We close the library and go back to the model structure. Select Table, setting it as current. We select Fit View once more. Zoom in on an area including both metal and wood. We go back to the rendering section and see the materials we chose for the object, for instance, varnished oak. We imagine that the grains are not too noticeable, that's why we edit the material and look for the parameters controlling the grains. Texture color is set as birch with two colors selected and scale set to 0.0075. We change it into a higher value, 0.015, in order to have a bigger texture and confirm. This time we don't need to rename the material because we have just changed a scale factor. Now we change the color of the metal, select and edit green metal. Texture color is set as plain. Reflectors to mirror, no transparency and no bumps. The color is set to green. We change it by clicking on it. From Define Custom Colors, we define a bit stronger green, for instance the one indicated by the arrow, and we confirm. We run the rendering preview, and we confirm. We give it a name, so we rename it Green RLA 6002, a color used, for instance, for industrial machines. Let's see a preview of the final result, and here is the varnish with the shiny finish on which the reflected shadows and the wood of the top of the table are projected. Let's now see the most interesting object, the coffee mug. We set it as current. Fit View. Let's see how to improve the look of transparent glass. To do this, we select Clear Glass, right-click, Edit. In Reflectance Glass, we find the item Refraction. We increase it to 2.5 and let's display the preview. As we are going to see, sure, we fixed the glass. Now we just have to change the liquid inside the coffee mug. Let's imagine we don't want water, so we switch it to coffee, a nice coffee mug. To do this, we select water, right-click, Edit. Texture color is set to plain. The color set is white. We are going to choose a color on dark brown, more yellowish than reddish. By Define Custom Colors, we define the right tone and confirm by OK. After that, we set Reflectance instead of Glass. We set it to Conductor to give it a more matte look. And we change the settings of Ambient Factor from 1 to 0.5, of Diffuse Factor from 0.75 to 0.5, and finally of Mirror Factor from 0.8 to 0.5. Transparency from None, we set it to Eroded. With Coverage, switch it from 0.5 to 0.9. After these changes, we are ready to display a preview of the final object. To see if we like the effect, we are getting an object with a surface of brown color, specular but opaque, through which we don't see any other object, while it acts as a mirror surface inside a refractive glass container, and confirm. At this step, there is no reason why this material is named water, so we can rename it coffee. Then, we save it to our library. Coffee is included, and we just need to save it. Finally, let's check it in our rendering library. In Material, User Define, we go back to the Import folder to update it and see the new item, coffee. Then we regenerate the icon, selecting it and applying Regenerate so that it's generated by the material properties. We switch back to the model structure, reset the current component, and select once more Fit View. Well done! Let's now concentrate on the metallic objects and consider the caliper. We set it as current, adjust the view so that we can see it closer, and let's have a look at the materials of which it's made of. By selecting iron, we see the faces blackened and we leave them unchanged. As for structural steel, instead, we would like to give it a finish of ground steel. In reflectance metal, we modify ambient factor from 1.1 to 0.5, so with low reflectivity but with a uniform surface appearance. From advanced options, we change roughness from 0.5 to 0.3, and let's now have a look at the preview to see if the effect is satisfying. We are getting a finish with reflectivity in the tilted surfaces, but with an opaque, uniform look, so we confirmed these materials. We go back to the model structure, and let's now analyze and possibly improve the look of the surfaces of the ribs on the rubber of the grip of the ballpoint pen. We select it, set it as current, and have a look at the material selected for this object, specifically plastic dark gray knurled 2 mm that we want to edit in part. In this case, we find the parameters to change inside the ribs of the material. In Texture Mapping UV, we set same scale and change the scale from 1 to 0.03 in order to get ribs of smaller size. As usual, let's display the preview of the object. We can say it looks fine, so we confirm our plastic material that we must rename as we changed it plastic dark gray knurled, and save to library. In material, we click user defined and go back to the import folder to update it and see the new item plastic dark gray knurled. To regenerate the existing icon, we select it, choose regenerate, so that it's generated by the material properties, and here again the icon showing how the material applied to a sphere looks like. We go back to the model structure, reset the current component, close the library, and apply Fit View. Now we know how to change the characteristics of materials. In a nutshell, we start from an existing material and edit it to create a new one. So we save